Hello guys, my name is Rishan, son of Sugakumaran. I am studying in Polytechnic Ibrahim Sultan. This is my school project. So there is a three type of art: Chinese art, Japan art, and Indian art. So in this video, we can learn about information about the Chinese art, their philosophy, their paintings and drawing. So many like that. So let us start with Chinese art. Ancient Chinese architecture. Together with European and Arabian architecture, Chinese architecture is an important component of the ancient world architectural system. The second point, during its long development, is gradually formed into a style which features timber work, combining stone carving, rammed earth construction, bucket art buildings, and many other techniques. Okay, the third one, industry Chinese laboring people created many architectural miracles such as Great Wall, Forbidden City, and Colosseum of the first Queen Emperor. So you can see the two pictures, Forbidden City Beijing and Yidalin the Great Wall. So this is the famous place in China, the Great Wall. Okay, the second page. The features the most significant characteristic is the use of timber framework. Paintings and carvings were added to the architectural work to make it more beautiful and attractive. So you can see the wall, and this is some kind of half the center of the house. This you can see the walls. So the fifth point, ancient Chinese architecture is mainly timber work. Wooden posts, beams, lintels, and joists make up the framework of the house. Okay, let us go to the sculpture. Chinese situate bronzes from the Shang and Western Zhou dynasties come from a period over 1000 c 1500 and containing influence over Chinese art. They are cast with complex pattern and zygomorphic decoration, but a one human figure only recently discovered at Chendistoy. So this is the information about sculpture. Okay. Native Chinese religions do not usually use cult images of deities or even represent them, and large religious sculpture is nearly all Buddhist. Okay, you can see the two picture. They are sculpture of Buddhist and the horse. Buddhism is also a context of all large portrait sculpture in total contrast to some other areas in medieval China. Even painted image of an emperor were regarded as private. And the first picture shows an emperor in China. Okay, let me go to the Chinese painting. Traditional Chinese painting involves essentially the same technique as Chinese calligraphy and is done with a brush dipped in black or color ink. Oils are not used. So we can see that in Chinese painting they always use a brush and paints. Most popular materials on which paintings are made of paper and silk. The finished work can be mounted on scrolls such as hanging scrolls or hand scrolls. Traditional painting can also be done on album sheets, walls, lacquerware, folding screens, and other media. Ink and wash painting. So the two pictures here showing the ink and wash type paintings. Okay. Chinese calligraphy appreciate more or only of aesthetic quality as a long tradition and is today regarded as one of the arts. Materials and tools. The main tools are the using is the ink brush, ink, paper, and inkstone are essential implements of Chinese calligraphy. Brush, paper, paperweights, displays are the main things when they are doing painting. Okay. Next, philosophy. Chinese painting and painting theory have roots with China's major philosophy significantly including Confucianism, Buddhism, and Taoism. There is a strong predominance of Chinese painters and their styles employing Taoist philosophy in not only the appearance and practice of painting but in painting theory as well. So, behind this story, there is a theory. So the poem of the masters, there's a story of masters like that. There must a story behind this kind of paintings. Indian art. Architecture. Indian art and architecture works of art and architecture produced on the Indian subcontinent, which is now divided among India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. In the Western world, notable collection of Indian art can be seen in the British Museum in Victoria and Albert Museum and in the Museum of Fine Arts, Boston. This is the image of Indus Valley Civilization, the earliest Indian image from the valley of Indus River during the second of the third millennium BC. The best known site of Harappa, destroyed in 19th centuries. So in this Indus Valley civilization, there is a house shop like we have now. There is a house shop, so there's no big difference between now and that time. Okay, architecture and arts in history display a devotion to gods and goddess, oral history, storytelling, and romantic love. The second picture, Taj Mahal, represent as love, a romantic place, which there is a story behind the Taj Mahal. Though the first picture shows a coil, which showing a devotion of God. India is a visual museum of architecture dating back a thousand of years. Many of its most significant structures excel because they are detailed carving and stonework. So you can see the pictures are showing that they always use the stone as a rough stone to build this kind of buildings. Sculpture art of India. Sculpture art is probably the oldest art of form to exist. So you can see the in Koil or other places you can see the on the wall there is a sculpture of these pictures, because humans always create pictures of a woman or a man which depends on the godness. Okay, the above can be seen by the human eye. So, like I said, there's a human figures that they are sculpture, and this as the fourth point is where you can see this kind of sculptures. Okay, these are the pictures, five pictures. Tracing the history of sculptures from the ancient times, one can find that sculptures can act as a good basis for recreating and understanding our past. So this is sculpture because the main thing of these sculptures is we can recalling the past as when the World War like that. So we can recall what they have been go through. So there are the pictures of dancing girl, sculpture by Mohenjo-daro. That time, Indian painting. Indian painting has a very long tradition history in Indian art. So the two pictures shown that this is the type of Indian that they're using a rock painting. Rock paintings about 10,000 years old. They must draw in cave or in on the rock. So they always draw a figura of human beings. Uh, in India, ancient Hindu and Buddhist literature has many mention of palace and other buildings decorated with paintings. So you can see this kind of paintings in the buildings in palace. Indian calligraphy. Religious texts are the most frequent vehicle for the calligraphy in India. So you can see the three pictures of calligraphy of Indian. The Gilgit scripts are the earliest notable form of calligraphy in India. So the Gilgit scripts you can search in Google. There's one type of scripts which is known as earliest. Okay, the philosophy. Art is the one of the cultural activity man through which he reaches his idea, values, feelings, expression, and reaction of life. So there is a story behind these paintings, and also we can know the feelings, values. So there's many ideas to draw this kind of things. It is the most general principle of the aesthetic cognition of human activity. So all these two painting represent a human activity. So you can see the human's figure which doing the activity. Okay. Thirdly, Japan architecture. So you can see the pictures. The pictures they are built by a wood. So the earliest Japan architecture, this one kind of buildings where they are using their creativity to do that. And the second picture also like that, they use the creativity. So they will always do sliding doors, uh, a place of walls, allowing the internal configuration of the space to be customized for different occasions. Okay, Japanese sculpture. The sculpture of Japan started from a clay. They use a clay to sculpture a figure. The sculptures were made in the local shops. You can see the local shops. This kind of sculpture in local shops. Most of the Japanese sculptures derive the idol worship in Buddhism or animism types of Shinto. The Chinese peoples always believe in deity, which they do sculpture of Buddha, Buddhists like that. Sculpture among all arts can be more firmly centered on Buddhism. That I said they always centered on Buddhism. Okay, Japanese painting. So these three are the type of painting they do. Um, Kaigo also Gado. This is some kind of word Chinese. The oldest one in Japanese art painting, and the subject matter widely regarded the most characteristic of Japanese painting. So we can see the nature in their paintings. So that's the main point when they do some kind of painting. Japanese calligraphy. As we know, Japanese calligraphy they must use ink and paper to write anything and a letter like that. So the brush is the most important. The most esteemed calligrapher in Japan has been Wang Shi, a Chinese calligrapher from 4th century. So this has the information. Japan art philosophy. So these are the two pictures which show the philosophy of the sculpture and the ideas. These ideas and others underpin Japan culture and aesthetic norms from where considered tasteful or beautiful. So you can see the beautiful. There's the trees and snowing. So that is the idea. I did some these are traditional while others are modern, sometimes influenced by other cultures. So this kind of represent the oldest feeling, and they following their traditional.